Confused.
All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of Something Super Podcast. I'm Steve.
I'm Mark.
I'm Jay.
Guys, we're going to be covering What If. This is episode 2. So I really wanted to cover this episode because it is one of the more iconic Marvel pieces. And I don't say that because it was better than anything else or, you know, it blew anyone away with any spectacular anything. But this was Chadwick Boseman's final contribution to the MCU.
And he's going to be in 2 more episodes, I believe.
So What If is huge in regards to Chadwick Boseman, you know, sort of reprising his role as the Black Panther. Although in this episode, he reprises his role as Star-Lord. So Jay, let's crack this egg open.
I absolutely love this episode. It was great. One of my favorite things on the entire episode, though, has to be Thanos, even though he kind of was just like not the Thanos you expect to see.
Thanos is a bitch.
And he just defended his plan the entire time. And they're like, it sounds like genocide. He goes, but it's efficient.
Dude, Thanos in this episode was like our buddy AJ when he's trying to get us to invest in cryptocurrency.
Wait, overbearing?
Like he just keeps repeating himself, hoping for a different outcome. But Thanos was just like it discredited him in my eyes so much in the MCU. Because like, how shitty of a job did you do that the Collector is now the toughest guy in the galaxy? And also the children of Thanos clearly were pulling the strings, not Thanos.
So now I understand exactly where you're coming from, where it looks like he was kind of bitch made. But on the flip side to that, maybe T'Challa was actually just that good of a wordsmith that like he explained, because again, Thanos is still like, no, but like genocide makes sense. Like we could have done it and it would have worked. But T'Challa talked him into, instead of cutting everyone in half, you have the ability to just double everything else. Don't be an asshole. And I think that was like his pitch to Thanos was like, it's the same amount of work to just double shit that it is to cut people in half. And it made sense. So he did it. And he's still like, well, I mean, like my idea would have worked as well. It's just like his was a little bit better and it didn't kill a bunch of people. So like,
it was a strong argument.
Absolutely was a strong argument.
Right.
And I don't want to say the Black Order was pulling all the strings, but I do completely understand how the Collector became the strongest person in the universe. And here's why. The man collects fucking everything. He has Captain America's shield, Thor's hammer. He's got like fucking Hela's helmet. Like, Jesus fucking Christ.
Well, that's the other thing, too. How does he have Captain America's shield if at this point in time in the timeline, Cap's frozen?
Well, what if... So, I mean, how many shield iterations has he had? Like, it could have been an extra one. I mean, Tony's dad was a fanboy for Cap.
Yeah, but didn't he get frozen with the OG shield?
Yeah, but he could have... I mean, Tony's dad could have had extra ones. I mean, Christ. Falcon had a brand new shield in comparison to the one that he was given at the end. Like Endgame had a new shield. Like everyone's always got a new fucking shield. It's like every fucking movie. He had the stealth shield when he was fighting Bartok.
No, and that's what I mean though. But for me, like that looked like it should have been the OG shield, which would have been frozen at that time.
Maybe
period.
he went and took it.
Yeah, I mean, at this point,
this was 08, so Cap or Tony wasn't even Iron Man yet. So literally in the first Iron Man movie, you see like the prototype shield, but it's not even in one piece.
Yeah, no, I completely understand that. I'm just, I'm trying to play both sides of the coin here. Like, how did he get Thor's hammer?
It's a multiverse.
Yeah,
maybe other things happened.
Cap could have never fucking been frozen, and he could have passed down the shield. And there's a million different things in there. Obviously, we know it's not the same universe as the first episode because it's not Captain Carter's shield.
Right. And from my understanding, these are all going to take place in different universes.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, you could even go as to argue he has Hela's helmet, who was non-existent until, the third Thor movie.
Right. But she was also banished to hell.
Yeah.
But, and she needed
a
helmet.
But that's the points that I'm making is how does he have these weapons
And again,
that he like shouldn't have? I mean, granted, when you saw like the room with all the spaceships, I mean he does have the Grandmaster's orgy ship. He has an X-wing if you look closely in the background. And he does have, I forget the name of it, but Hank Pym's that he uses to go into the quantum realm. So he does have like those means. So I guess maybe he could have time traveled. I don't know if the quantum realm can send you forward in time.
I don't see why not. We will find out in Ant-Man and Wasp: Quantumania. Yeah, so I'm all about it.
No, I mean, don't get me wrong. I enjoyed it. Just for me, I just felt like this episode, it just had a lot of loopholes for me that, like, I don't like loopholes not being answered.
Well, sure. I mean, it's a 33-minute episode, so they only had so much to deal with. But I thought it was super cool that basically everyone Star-Lord, or T'Challa came into contact with, he made like a better person, which was interesting because it just goes to show you that like he had that royalty, like kingness in his blood, regardless whether he was grown up in Wakanda or not. I did have a question as far as loopholes, if you want to get, technical about that. Where did he get the necklace from? Because he didn't have it as a kid when he got picked up.
See, something for me that I assumed was he wanted to go back to Wakanda. And what's his name? Yondu tells him that Wakanda's burnt down or destroyed or whatever. So I'm wondering if he sent like a search party or something like that, or maybe it was just something else that they took. Because remember, when they take him, they literally were like, "How did you take the wrong kid?" They're like, "You said look for all worldly things." And everything about this kid is all worldly. So maybe he just wasn't wearing it. Maybe like they found it along with something else. Like they have the technology to find that kind of stuff. Yeah. So to me, I took it as it was probably a gift from Yondu.
As like this is what's left of your planet.
Right. And that's how I kind of took it. Like that was a good point though. Like they don't explain that either. But for me, like I did find that like the whole premise of him becoming Star-Lord hysterical because it's literally like I don't know. Them two just remind me of the two pirates from Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yes.
Absolutely. Like they're just the dumb, nitwitted sidekicks that it's like you just can't trust them to do anything right. Taserface and I forget the other guy's name. The one that's voiced by his brother.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree. It was good. They're hilarious. Yeah, they were like, oh, he had ears, eyes, and a nose hole. Like that's the kid you asked us to pick up, right? Yeah, that's him.
2 ear holes, 2 breathe holes, 1 feed hole.
Yeah.
So like, I appreciated that. I appreciated the comedy in it. I think there was a lot of action, which was pretty cool. But when it all came down to it, like there was the double, triple cross. You have
Nebula.
Yeah, sorry, Jesus Christ, I couldn't even remember her name. Because again, blonde hair, not ready for that. Was not ready.
Also, the only thing she has is like a mechanical eyebrow now, not an entire body.
Which, again, could have happened in like a fight, and Thanos helped fix her up. Yeah, instead of her being a fucking cyborg.
Now, one question I have, because obviously you're the Marvel guy. So, how much of this episode was actually that's T'Challa's like personality, and how much of this was just pandering to pay tribute to Chadwick Boseman?
I'll say like 50-50.
Okay. Because like I get it. Like, I know he's more of like they have a ton of callbacks. There's the adopted joke that you always see Loki and Thor. There's the should I bow? Should I kneel? What should I be doing right now?
Oh, which I thought was awesome.
We don't do that here. Yeah. So like they have a lot of callbacks, but for me, I was just kind of like, as I'm watching it, I'm like, how much of this is actually like this is how T'Challa is in the comics? And how much of it was like, this is just Chadwick Boseman was an amazing human being. I
want to say a lot of it was a tribute to him because like, obviously he was a great person. He worked all through his cancer and like up into his death. But yeah, again, they tried to fucking pitch to Thanos that like genocide wasn't a good idea. Now, obviously, they didn't have an idea to like double everything and fucking fix the world like that. But I think Thanos's character in the MCU up until now, like he was pretty fucking dead set on like doing one thing and one thing only, and it was because he was just angry. He was genocidal. And that's who he is. Like I mean, I've watched a million serial killer murderer type documentaries and stuff. Like you don't just go to the jail and go, you know what? Instead of doing this, have you thought of doing this? And like a fucking light switch went off, and they're like, oh shit, you know what? I shouldn't fucking kill people anymore. No, that's just who you are. And that, I'm not saying it's not okay, but like that's just who they are. You can't fucking fix it and whatever. But like Ted Bundy wasn't like, fuck, I shouldn't murder women today. I had a fucking epiphany.
Jay, you're oddly quiet on this whole stopping genocide conversation.
We know where Jay is.
Yeah, I know.
Jay's
we
all
all
about
know
the genocide.
I thought you would have been pissed when they did it. Like, fuck.
Yeah, I was, but I thought it was funny that he just defended his point the whole time that genocide was right.
Do you ever think that you would see Okoye lecturing Thanos about genocide in the MCU?
No, but it's hilarious.
No, I thought it was hilarious how they brought him into the show, like how they brought him into the episode. They were all like sitting there having a drink, catching up, and then he just came up like Thanos bro with a beer in hand, and he was like, "Man, my idea was good." Like, where the fuck did you come from? I was well shocked by that reveal in the episode. A pleasant surprise, but shocked nonetheless.
Really, it was a surprise for you. As soon as I saw Josh Brolin's names in the credits, I looked at Danielle. I was like, Thanos is in this episode. I got really excited, and then that happened, and my excitement just slowly deflated.
That's fair. That is fair.
Though he finally did call himself the Mad Titan.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Did you guys catch the one frame where Thanos copies Peter Parker? No. Did you, Steve? Did you catch that?
I would have to rewatch it. I did not.
When he's fighting, I think is it Cull Obsidian that has the hammer?
Yeah.
When he's fighting him, he swings his hammer at Thanos. Thanos like catches it and he like cocks his head out to the side like Peter does when he saves Iron Man.
Yeah,
but
that's fine. That's great.
Like this series has been super enjoyable. There's just for me, I'm just getting nitpicky. I'm not even gonna lie. You can't always say positive things about Marvel. They got to do something wrong.
No. And here's my thing. I actually agree with you. I definitely say it was a lot of pandering. And I do have my gripes with the episode. I just, again, like for me, it's a cartoon. It's a multiversal thing. I try to find the realism in most of it. But again, like you said, if this sticks exactly to the timeline, minus the fact that Chadwick Boseman was picked up instead of, our original Star-Lord, then everything should be the same. Cap should still be frozen. Then Hela shouldn't exist. She should be in hell. Like,
right.
There's Thor should still. Why the fuck would Thor not have his hammer?
Right. Like if it's 08, like this is like right as the MCU is starting. But there was one dark element to this episode. And to me, it was when T'Challa goes onto a ship and you see like the mannequins wearing the Dorn Village uniforms. Yeah. Like, did the Collector just like kill them and like just
it's
like basically frame their uniforms or like because like
probably.
Well, I'm saying because then he has.
It sounds like something he would do.
You know how like there's whole cans, he has core cans.
Yeah,
like
he does.
So like. For me, I was just sitting there and I'm just like, okay, but I did like a lot of the continuity they kept. Like the Dark Elf was one of his captured beings. Forget the dog's name, but the dog was in the Guardians of the Galaxy movie, I think. But just to go back to what you said earlier, Steve, like I did like that they had it be the Collector, mainly because like in the MCU, like people don't realize that like he did have 2 or 3 Infinity Stones at one point, like.
Yeah,
like he very easily could have been. Dude. Yeah, and that's what I mean. Like he very easily could have been. And it's not like he didn't know what they were. Like he knew what he had.
You know what you got.
Right. So But that was really it for me. I mean, it was an enjoyable episode. I can't wait to see what's coming next week with Loki coming to Earth. I know we both kind of threw out our theories as to how that's going to go down, but
Poorly.
well, no, for me, I'm wondering if they're going to do it like rather than Thor coming to Earth, it's Loki coming to Earth. Like maybe Loki is the favorite son.
I'd like to see how that plays out, honestly. Like, to be completely honest with you,
Right.
especially if he's got the hammer.
And that's what I mean. Even if he doesn't have the hammer, but like maybe his daggers are enchanted like the hammer.
I really hope they do a reverse get help.
He throws Thor.
Yes.
Thor might be dead. Who knows?
Yeah, Thor very well.
Maybe it's the baby Loki who killed Thor.
Kid Loki?
Well,
Kid
no,
Loki.
the kid Loki killed Thor still in the void.
You never know.
Well, that's why he didn't age, was because he got pruned as soon as it happened.
Yep.
So he wouldn't be older. He would just be
He's actually the oldest
kid
of
again.
the Lokis.
Yeah. Well, out of those Lokis, yeah.
Yeah.
Which is funny. But
all right, Jay, what do you got? Wrap it up for me, man.
It's effective.
No, not genocide. We're not asking you to give us your thoughts on genocide. Any of the thoughts on the episode, bud?
Oh, no.
I know what you think about murder.
We nailed it pretty well for me. I'm good.
No. What did you think?
Oh,
this is a personal opinion thing.
Oh, I really liked it. I already said my opinion on this episode. I said
I just kind of wanted to get
episode.
final thoughts.
Yeah, I thought it was a really good episode. I'm excited for the next ones.
Oh, I am too.
I'm really excited for a zombie one, but that's going to be a little while off.
Oh yeah.
As far as my final thoughts, I think it was a great tribute to Chadwick Boseman. I think there was a lot of inconsistency, like you said, Mark, but overall it was enjoyable to watch. Definitely got to go through it again and just catch those little things, little details they threw in there. But yeah, I mean, as far as this episode, that's really all I've got. We're all looking forward to the next 8 episodes for the 10? Yeah, something like
that.
7, 8
7
episodes.
or 8.
Yeah, so like we're ready. We're here. We're going to cover them for you guys. As always, we are on Twitter at SS Podcast 52, Instagram and Facebook at Something Super Podcast. You can catch us on all of your major streaming apps. That includes Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Anchor. Thank you so much for hosting us. Lastly, I'm Steve.
I'm Mark.
I'm Jay.
And we'll catch you guys next week.